beautiful summer day in 2019 in Ljubljana, Slovenia, when suddenly a beautiful blonde woman with a towel wrapped around her hand rushes into the ER with her boyfriend and her father-in-law to be by her side. The woman's name is Julija Adlesic, and her boyfriend's name is Sebastien Abramov. The father-in-law, I could not find his name on the internet. If you find his name on the internet, tell me, and I'll put a little asterisk in here and put it on the screen. Anyway, so the three of them rush into the ER. Julija is holding her hand with a towel around it, and they run to the intake desk, and she says, "I've cut my hand off." And they're like, "Oh my goodness, okay, what happened? Let's get you all checked in." And so she tells them that she was cutting branches and she accidentally cut her whole hand off. The hospital staff working with her is like, "Wow, that is unfortunate. I'm so sorry. Did you guys happen to bring your hand with you so we can see about reattaching it? It might be possible." And Julija and Sebastien are like, "Oh no, we forgot the hand. Oh, sorry. We forgot the hand." And the hospital staff is like, "You forgot the hand? The whole hand? That you just cut off? You forgot it?" And they're like, "Yes, oh no, what will we do now? I guess you're just going to have one hand for the rest of your life, Julija. Oh, Sebastien, will you still love me with one hand?" Ugh. If you're watching this and you're thinking, "This poor girl has just accidentally lobbed off her hand. You are being so mean. Shame on you." First of all, tell me. It helps me in the algorithm. And, two, just wait. So, the nursing staff calls the police, something that I guess Julija, Sebastien, and the father-in-law decided they didn't need to do, but whatever. It's just their whole hand was cut off, but it's no biggie. And they get officers over there to search for the hand, and they find it. It's kind of like just out in the open there. So they collect it and they bring it to the hospital. They're like, "Julija, we were able to recover your hand. You're probably gonna be okay." And she's like, "Great. Isn't that great? Yes, we're overjoyed that you found her hand." So that doesn't seem fishy at all, does it? Well, it turns out that Julija had filed for several insurance policies that covered accidents, specifically accidents where you lose a limb. And Sebastien, man, he really jumped on the phone quick to get those claims going so they could get the payout. The payout being first in one big lump sum, and then the rest in payments. Homeboy did not waste any time on getting that going. Again, not suspicious at all. The insurance companies contact the police department and they say, "This is suspicious." Shock, I know. And they want to have access to the police findings. So police start a formal investigation because at this point, it's looking like perhaps this is an insurance fraud plot. Who would have guessed? Good news for Julija. I mean, it'd be good news for most people, but maybe, I guess, bad news for Julija. The physicians, they were able to reattach her hand, so she has two hands still. So when you have a limb removed and then reattached, there are issues usually with reattachment. Normally it's overall successful, but there will be a few things wrong. You can't get like every nerve ending to connect again exactly the same way, but the girl has two working hands. What more can you ask for in a situation like that, right? The police get a warrant to search the home where Julija, Sebastien, and the father-in-law reside, and they get access to their search history. And oh, guess what? 5 days before this happened, Sebastien was Googling artificial limbs. Just Googled all about it, but definitely not insurance fraud. The police, when they're interviewing Julija and asking her how this happened, she said she was trimming branches in the backyard and she accidentally lobbed her whole hand off. And they're like, wow, like with trimming shears? And she's like, oh no, with a round saw. A round saw. I had to Google this, okay? But like, you don't need to use a round saw to trim some twigs or branches. That's like overkill. I mean, I guess you can. You just don't have to. But I'd also, making assumptions here, sorry, wouldn't you wear protective gear if you're gonna be handling a saw? Especially if it's just leisurely trimming? Maybe it's not something you do all the time. Even if it was something I did all the time, I'd wear gloves, because I like my limbs. The police basically came to the conclusion, and the insurance company, that there was enough evidence here to not only charge Julija with insurance fraud, but also her boyfriend and her father-in-law. There is just something so oddly endearing about them wearing these matching king and queen sweatshirts to their hearings. I don't think I could get my husband to wear matching anything, let alone if we were going down for a crime. So what do you think? Should we get those for Christmas?
No.
How about if we were on trial for insurance fraud? Do you think we should wear those?
That's kind of tacky.
Her boyfriend was given 3 years, Julija was sentenced to 2 years, and the father-in-law got 1 year, which I find pretty reasonable. But here's the plot twist. 2nd of July 2021, the higher court issued an overturning of the first sentencing for all 3 defendants. According to the higher court, regarding the cause of Julija's injury was not sufficiently clarified. The higher court believes that the district court violated the rights of the defense by refusing the motion for a biochemical expert to test a rounded saw on a human cadaver, which they feel affected the correctness and legality of the ruling. A new trial is going to be held, and they have to consider this evidence along with other evidence. They need to decide on this new evidence, and they also need to decide on a psychological evaluation of Julija herself. They also need to rule on the credibility of the witnesses. After weighing and analyzing every piece of evidence individually, the court will have to decide the case anew. And the defense sought to use this evidence to prove that Julija was in fact injured by accident. Here's the deal. I get that in a trial, you would hope that they would do forensic testing on everything, and everything would be above bar. It wouldn't be circumstantial, right? But the thing is, I don't need it clarified for me. Let me know if you'd like it clarified for you, that a saw could lob a hand off. It could. It could definitely lob a hand off. So, lucky for Julija and Sebastien and the father-in-law that their representation was able to hand this over to the higher court for reevaluation, because, man, I don't know. It seems very suspicious to me. It seems like a big old fail of an insurance fraud scheme. But That's my opinion. Maybe I'll eat my words when they retry the case. It seems pretty clear to me what happened, but let me know what you think.